Like, I'm upset. I'm upset about it. It actually sucks. But we're still gonna have a good MCC, right? We're still gonna have a great MCC. We're gonna do well. What?
Silence, idiot!
Oh, come on. You really thought for a second. You really thought for a second that I would just forget?
Yeah. You saw that cool TikTok transition? Yeah. Follow me on TikTok. Wow, was that a promotion within like the first minute of the video? Yes, it was.
Hey guys, Editing Rebel here. So, a couple things to know before the actual video begins. Number one, when I first started editing the video, I was comparing my camera audio to my microphone audio and found that my camera audio sounded way better than my microphone audio. So I decided to ditch the microphone audio and use the camera audio, and now I just look stupid with my microphone in my hand, talking into it like I'm actually using the audio. So anyways, I'm not gonna re-record again. I'm tired, I'm busy, I don't know. Second, a bit of the footage is actually kind of, I'm gonna say corrupted, because some family members were calling during my filming, and you can hear like my phone vibrating and nothing else whenever I'm speaking. You can barely hear me speak whenever my phone is being called. So I had to delete some stuff. So I might have to come back in and interject a couple times just to clear some things up so nothing seems weird and I get all my points covered. Anyways, continue with the video.
What is up, my beautiful rebellion? It is your rebellious tiny leader, iCloud Rebel, and welcome. It's Pride Month. I thought I'd dress up for the occasion. I mean, look at this fit. Look at it. Look at this fit I have. Is it not a fit? See, I promised you guys I would make a Pride Month video. It just came out a little bit later than expected for multiple reasons. Reason number one, me being a moron, thought that Pride Month was in July. So, this video was expected to come out on July 1st, aka what I thought was Pride Month. Oops. Number two, I moved. As you can see, I moved locations. I'm now kind of living on my own. So that was a factor, and I also had to get settled in and adjusted with a new schedule, because I'm working 6 days a week and also have college to do. So, yeah, it's pretty hard to find a time where I can just, like, get good looking and record. And the final reason is this shirt and this necklace and the flag, when I ordered them, there was some shipping problems and stuff came in a bit late. So that's also another reason, but I'm sorry, I'm here now. I'm gonna try to film. It was also kind of hard, like writing a script. I write bullet points for a script. I'm not good at writing essays. I also got some brand name grape soda. I'm not gonna say the brand name because I'm not being sponsored. Because it's purple and yeah, I got this while I went grocery shopping and I wanted to like get more like rainbow foods. But the only thing LGBTQ or pride related food that interested me, and kind of the only thing that I saw, were those Oreos with the pride packaging. But I'm not a big fan of Oreos, and the Oreos were not like rainbow colored themselves, they're just white. So I didn't get those. So let's actually get started with the video. In case if you guys haven't heard, or you can't tell by the mass amounts of purple, I'm asexual. And for those of you that don't know what asexual is, or you've heard the word but don't exactly understand everything, let me give you the definition. I'm actually going to be reading a lot of stuff off of my computer due to the fact that I don't know a lot of asexual facts off the top of my head, and I don't want to spread misinformation. So I'm going to be looking over here a good bit. So asexuality is the sexual orientation where people experience little to no sexual desire. is also more or less a spectrum, considering, like I just stated, little to no. So there's multiple like subcategories under the broad term of asexuality. So I thought I'd read off like all the different types of asexuality, just so you guys can understand the subcategories and get a general idea. We have gray asexual, or dubbed gray sexual, is where someone who falls in some area between being asexual and sexual. This identity is especially idiosyncratic, as the experiences of a gray sexual can vary widely. People who identify with either of those labels can include, but are in no way limited to, people who do not normally experience attraction, but do sometimes, people who experience attraction but have a low sex drive, and people who can enjoy and desire sex or romantic relationships, but under very limited and specific circumstances. But I kind of also just described gray romantic, which is a form of aromanticism. You know, it's kind of the same, but also not the same. Just like keep in mind, if I describe a category under the asexual spectrum, there's also a similar type that falls under the aromanticism category as well. But like in general, romance. We have demisexuality, which actually apparently demi is French for half. So that kind of makes sense. It works off the idea of primary attraction and secondary attraction. Primary attraction is attraction to people based on first impressions, such as appearance or how they smell. Secondary attraction is attraction to people that develops over time and forms out the relationship one has with a person and their emotional connection. This can be applied to both the romantic and sexual attraction. Demisexuals do not experience primary attraction, but do experience a secondary attraction. So, in summary, it's kind of like no one-night stands. You have to have like a strong emotional connection with that person in order to form a sexual desire. I kind of identify as demisexual, but after reading about this next one that I'm going to talk about, I'm kind of leaning towards that one instead. Reciprosexuality is someone who does not experience sexual attraction to someone until they know that person is attracted to them. So, I'm starting to think I'm kind of that. You're seeing some self-discovery on camera. We have asexual. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. But this identity has been through several name changes and may also be called I don't know how to pronounce that. Or lithsexual. Asexuals may experience sexual and romantic attraction, but that attraction fades if it's reciprocated. Then we have aseflux. Someone who is aseflux has a sexual orientation that fluctuates along the spectrum between asexual and sexual. Some people who are aseflux will always stay within the asexual spectrum, while others may occasionally fall outside of it. So, that's all of them. I also like to think that any of the types of asexuality is just an add-on to other types of sexual orientation. So, like, I identify as straight or heterosexual, meaning that I like the opposite gender, so men. However, I also identify as asexual. So it's an add-on. You could be like pan and asexual, or even the triple combination, non-binary, pansexual, and asexual. That's a triple threat. So let's quickly go over the colors of the asexual flag and what they mean. So the black stripe represents asexuality in general. The gray stripe, actually, wait, you can't really necessarily tell an entire difference between the gray and the white, but you can see it. The gray stripe represents the gray area between asexuality and sexuality, like gray sexual and demisexual. The white stripe represents sexuality, so you can see the scale. Oh my god, wait, I just realized that's a... Oh my god, I just now realized the spectrum. Oh. Guys, I have been enlightened. And the purple represents community. I think that's nice. I think that's nice. So now, let's take this time to debunk some rumors and myths and false information about asexuality or asexuals, just to make you guys aware and stop the spread of misinformation and assumptions. Number 1, asexuality is a psychological disorder. I've actually never heard of that one before, but apparently that's an accusation. Obviously that's not true. Number 2, asexuality is a physical problem. Some people think that people are asexual just because they have a low sex drive or libido. So that's not false. Asexuals have a normal libido usually. We just, again, are just not interested in fulfilling that primal desire, whatever the frick it is. Asexuality is the same as celibacy, meaning generally abstinence. Also not true. Asexuals don't experience any type of attraction. That's not true. Personally, just because I'm asexual, I still have a type. I still have a type when it comes to me looking for a potential future boyfriend, aka fluffy-haired nerds. Asexuals are anti-sex. This is a very common misconception, but being asexual is not a reflection of a person's feelings towards what others do. It is not a social attitude or stance. There are only a handful of asexuals. Though some may believe the majority of the population, including your friends, families, and loved ones, are allisexual, meaning not asexual, basically. Just to prevent you guys from being confused. Apparently, based on some studies, 1% of the world's population is asexual. Although that is not as much as you think, because it's 1%, it's still a lot of people in the world. Asexuals can't have families. That's not true. Ever heard of adoption? We take the kids that you don't want. Got him! Asexuality is the new trend. I don't know why people think that's a trend. That's kind of dumb. So I also wanted to go over stuff that you shouldn't say to an asexual person. There are literally websites all based off of that. Let's do it! Number 1, challenge accepted. People think that, like, oh my god, at best, it's a joke that delegitimizes our identity by suggesting asexuality is something that will just go away with a good lay. Oh my god. Here's the next one, which is a little bit more common. How do you know if you've never tried it? So, see, the thing is, a lot of asexuals don't need to experience the adult fun time in order to fully determine that they are asexual. That's just not the case. Some people just even had their first kiss and are like, never want to do it again. Nope, never again. Never again. Not interested at all. Also, some people that turn out to be asexual or aromantic kind of derives from trauma, but again, that does not apply to everyone. No one is going to want to be with you if you don't put out. What? Your partner, should you choose to have one, should be someone who appreciates you for who you are, not for what you look like or what you offer physically. Your body is for you, and if you choose to share with someone else, that's your prerogative. Your body is not your only value. Don't give up on sex just because of one bad experience. Who said anything about a bad experience? Some people who have had negative or abusive experiences are asexual. Like me. I wasn't sexually abused, but I was still abused, and I think that's what contributes to me being asexual. But like I've stated, it does not apply to everyone. But some of them are also very sexual. Those experiences are often unrelated. See? But what about marriage or kids? I mean, that's their own freaking business if they want to get married or have kids. That's not your decision. I mean, if they want their bloodline to end with them, so be it. You can't be asexual because you've had sex with blank. Here's the first sentence. First off, thank you for monitoring all my life choices for me. I'm not sure how I would ever have managed to keep track on my own. Many people who are asexual do have sex for a variety of reasons. Some people feel they need to explore sex to confirm for themselves that they are asexual, and I think that's kind of the case for me. Undetermined though, some people become asexual at one or more points in their life. Don't you mean celibate? Again, that's not true. I actually told my family that I was demisexual, and I kind of briefly described demisexuality, and one of them said, so it's like Christianity. And in case if you don't know what that's referring to, basically one of the ye olden golden rules of Christianity, or just like a little tradition, is you're not allowed to have sex until marriage. That's not the case for demisexuality. It's just a phase. While it's true that sexuality can change over time, it's not the case for everyone, and it might not be true for the person you are talking to. It's complicated, and for asexuals, it's a very real experience that at times presents an incredible challenge. And one that wasn't exactly mentioned, but it's kind of similar to the first one, the challenge accepted one, is I'll change your mind. But don't ever say that to an asexual. From personal experience, when I became friends with someone who was asexual, I said that as a joke. Keep in mind, a joke. And looking back on that now, I realized that that was a bit of an a-hole move. So, my friend, if you're watching this, I'm so sorry, okay? I meant that to be lighthearted and funny. I did not mean to potentially offend you. I do think I actually made you uncomfortable. I'm so sorry. I really am. And probably some of you are wondering, well, why do you proudly flaunt it, as I like to say? Why do you, like, parade around and proclaim it everywhere? Well, there's a couple reasons why. My immediate thought, at least for me, is just a self of confidence and expression, and also knowing that there is a community out there that will welcome and accept me, hopefully. I mean, there are a bunch of reasons why people flaunt their sexuality, and you can go look that up yourself because I don't have time to summarize. There's just a bunch of psychological reasons, and that's it. Don't question why people flaunt their sexuality. Be happy that they are and that they're not hiding it. But if you decide to, keep that at a minimum, that's totally fine too. Just don't be afraid, I mean, yeah, it's scary. You might get hate, unfortunately, but know that there is a community out there that will accept you. And there's people like me that are welcoming you with open arms. So, let's get to the part of the video that I'm actually looking forward to. In my Am I a Romantic or Is It Just Trauma video, someone left a comment, and their comment was long, was very, very long, and I really wanted to answer it, but if I typed it all out, I was afraid that I wouldn't cover everything, and it would just be far too long, so I thought I'd answer it in this video. This comment comes from Fancy Kawaii Melody. By the way, if you are watching this Fancy Kawaii Melody, don't think that I never read your comment because I didn't respond. I saw it like almost immediately after you posted it, but like I stated, I saved it for this video. So, let's go over it. Interesting video. Love it when people talk about these kinds of experiences in a more laid-back setting. Thank you. I like to make informational videos like this, or almost any kind of video, in a relaxed, chill environment for a couple reasons. One, because I like it. I like making videos in an environment where I can kind of express the things that I like, and also to make other people feel a bit more relaxed, like they're not in a stressful tense, brightly lit classroom with a big whiteboard, for example, and me kind of yelling the facts at you and making it boring. I mean, I probably am making it boring, but, you know, just giving it a chill vibe, like you're welcome, like take a seat, wear your PJs, wear your favorite fuzzy slippers, you know? Chill out, let me spread some information. That's just kind of like how I like to do it. If it's not too personal, how did you know you were demisexual and not fully ace, for lack of a better term? It's not too personal. However, like I stated earlier in the video, I'm now debating if I'm demisexual or reciprosexual. But to get to the second half of that question, I don't think I'm fully ace, mainly just because my brain is like, you haven't actually had any romantic experiences, so let's not fully come to a 100% conclusion until you've experienced something romantic. Not everyone's like that. Keep that in mind, but that's just how I'm working. How deep/long of a connection is usually needed? I don't entirely know about that question, because like I stated, I have had 0 romantic experiences. I've never had a boyfriend, so. And as I stated in my a romantic video, I haven't necessarily experienced a proper crush either, so. Do you experience attraction to celebrities or fictional characters you got to know and read a lot about? I did used to have fictional crushes, and one was,
Hey guys, Editing Rebel here again. I'm back. So, unfortunately, while I was talking during this topic, my phone rang and someone called me, and I didn't notice for some reason. So I kind of, from what I'm looking at, I didn't re-record. So I'm here to interject. One of my notable fictional crushes was Dipper Pines from Gravity Falls. Yeah. He also was kind of the character that made me realize my type. And then, yeah, that's literally it. That's all I stated. Just my phone rang during that time, so that's unfortunate for me. Anyways, back to the video.
Actually, I think when I was around 14 or 15, I literally just woke up one morning and the first thought that I had was I didn't have a crush on Dipper Pines anymore. Like, I literally woke up and it was gone. Just gone. No feelings. Nothing. It was just there. I was like, I still love him as a character. Like, I think he's a great character and I can relate, but I can't imagine myself in a romantic situation. And that literally applies to any fictional character or celebrity. Like, okay, you'll see me, like, simping over a fictional character or celebrity because, I don't know, they look attractive, they sound attractive, or they're just talented, or yada, for many reasons. However, I don't actually have romantic feelings for them. I don't have a crush on them. Like, I'll place myself in a fictional world. Like, if you follow me on TikTok, you will see that I make a me at UA where I self-inserted myself into the My Hero Academia universe and what I would be doing if I existed in that universe. But do I ship myself with any of the characters? No! And that literally applies to anything. I'll probably seemingly get real nice and friendly with a character, but I literally can't imagine myself in a romantic situation with them. So even though I'm simping, I ain't exactly crushing. Does it take a long time for the new feelings to get accustomed to? It must be difficult at times to go from no feelings at all to sudden love feelings after bonding, especially with most people. It kind of works the other way around. Again, like I've stated, 0 romantic interactions or anything like that, so I can't exactly answer that question. Asking not because I'm questioning the validity of your experience, but it's just very interesting to hear about other people's experiences, especially Demi and all the varieties. They're complex and fascinating, plus I'm figuring out my own things as well. Well, it's good that you're figuring out your own things as well, and I know you're not questioning the validity of my statements. And I'm glad you find it interesting. I mean, I hope that me making these kinds of videos helps make people think about their own sexualities and them potentially relating to my personal experiences, that they're like, maybe I'm asexual, you know? Make people think, and hopefully I can help realize something in them. I mean, I'm not gonna like point and be like, you're that. I can't do that. That's your journey. That's your time to figure it out. I also like to think that there's like, for most asexuals, there's kind of a similar pattern for their journey of becoming aro or ace or whatever. So it starts out them thinking that they're homosexual because they don't feel anything for the opposite gender. Then they think that they're bi or pan because they feel the exact same way about both and all genders, which is nothing. Then they realize that they feel absolutely little to no romantic or sexual attraction at all, so boom, aro ace. That doesn't apply to me, but I've seen that situation happen to several people that are aro ace. As someone who has never been attracted to someone either romantically or sexually, has no understanding of the drive behind these sorts of relationships, or long for a romantic partner whatsoever, and is extremely repulsed by the idea of sex, I wonder how likely me turning out demi is. Because I have been friends with a lot of men, have had some unpleasant experiences with them, relatable, and I'm young, only 20, there might be a possibility I'm just too inexperienced and need a special, highly specific trigger / or get rid of mental obstacles to blossom. Oh, that's a lot to unpack right there, my friend. Okay. What I kind of see as a common design for asexuals or aromantics is not entirely understanding any romantic or sexual actions or gestures. Like, for me, I can kind of understand, but at the same time, I wonder, like, why on earth would they do that? But for example, the one that just puzzles me the most is the cliche romantic gesture of person A is about to get on a plane to go to another city or another country to pursue their dream job because they finally managed to achieve it, and they're gonna go off and, you know, do their thing, and they're gonna come back most likely, you know, but all that. But then all of a sudden, person B is running towards them and telling them, don't get on the plane, I love you, please stay here. And whether or not it matters that they have an established relationship or not, it doesn't really matter. But then person A is like, oh my god, you're right, I love you too. And then they hug or kiss, and person A leaves with person B to go back with them. What? First of all, why? I know, like, that happens in, like, movies and stuff, just to up the ante and make it dramatic and stuff. But if you look at that from a logical standpoint, which most of us aro aces do, there's a lot of stuff kind of wrong with that. For one, how the heck did person B bypass airport security without a ticket or anything, because they never seem to have their own airplane ticket to, you know, get into the rest of the airport, to somehow get to person A, who was literally at the gate? Also, why would person A stay behind to be with person B? You've heard of long distance relationships, right? Unless if you guys are afraid that if you guys start doing long distance then your relationship will fall apart, then that's a whole other box of issues that does not need to be unpacked. Or that is not going to be unpacked in this video. Also, even if person A stays, their luggage is on the plane and off to wherever the heck that they were supposed to be going. Also, another thing that just I ponder is why some movies will put sexual scenes in the movie when it's not necessary, like the movie Eternals. That one scene was not entirely necessary. Because for me, let's just talk about the movie Eternals. If you took that movie out, I think it still would have gone fine. I think it still would have gotten the point across that those two characters liked each other very much. However, you just added in something completely unnecessary. At least that's from my opinion. Also, it just ruined the rest of the movie for me because I felt very uncomfortable. Like, I was like, just got constant shivers the rest of the movie. I just felt uncomfortable. I mean, I can't say that for everybody, but that's just my personal opinion. It just wasn't needed, okay? It just wasn't needed. but let's get back to reading and answering this comment. Being repulsed by the idea of sex, well, that's technically called sex repulsion. And like asexuality, there's varying degrees. So that's totally fine. Wondering how likely turning out demi is, I can't determine that for you. That's your own personal journey. If you think that it's highly likely that you'll turn out demisexual, then okay. I can't read your comment and diagnose you demisexuality. I can't do that. And I can relate to not having that many male friends and having unpleasant experiences with them. Like I've stated, I have severe PTSD and trauma, so yeah, you know, I've had like male classmates and male acquaintances, but you know, I never really made friends with them because I was afraid I was coming off too strong or that I was flirting with them. So I never interacted with that many. And just because you're young, only 20, which actually you're around my age, that doesn't really matter. Age doesn't matter. People figure it out at their own times. Sometimes people will be 60 and figure out that they're gay. Doesn't really matter. And because you're too inexperienced and need a highly specific trigger or to get rid of mental obstacles to blossom, no, don't rely on that being the possibility. Sometimes I think that as well, but don't rely on that possibly solving your problems, okay? You're not broken if you think that. Being asexual or aromantic does not mean that you're broken or messed up or that something's wrong with you. It's just that. So don't necessarily think that, okay? That's all I can tell you. So yeah, I wonder if most demis came to the conclusion later in life because they first experienced life as a regular ace and needed time to bond properly, or if most of the time you can know early on if you're demi-ace or plain ace. Again, like I stated, everybody's journey is different. In general, everybody's journey to discovering their sexuality is completely different. Some people figure it out at a very young age. Some people figure it out kind of late. Some people figure out that they're ace without having any romantic or sexual experiences. And some figure it out after they've had a romantic or sexual experience. It's your own freaking journey. I mean, guess it. I can't tell you anything else. I hope that the information that I give you and me answering your comment kind of helps you out there, but I can only give you so much. I can't exactly tell you what you are. And I think some things also contribute to the background and circumstances that you grew up in. Because for me, I grew up in a small town where the majority of people were white, Christian, and heterosexual. So I wasn't entirely introduced to the LGBTQ community until high school, which, I mean, I probably knew a bit about it before then. And I feel like we should introduce the LGBTQ community to children at a young age. And before some of you come in here saying, well, I should just dress my kid up in rainbows and just flaunt around the No, I don't mean that. I mean, just tell your kid at a young age that a man and a man can love each other as much as a man and a woman can, and vice versa. Or that a person that is born one gender turns out to be another. Or that sometimes people just don't love another person romantically at all. Because imagine the confusion that your child will have if one of their classmates comes in saying that they have two mommies instead of a mommy and a daddy. I'm not saying shove it in your kid's face. I'm just saying state the facts that this is a thing and leave it at that and let them do whatever they want with that information. Simple, easy. Just be like, hey, this exists. This is a real thing. Have fun with it. Do whatever you want with that information. As long as you don't do any hate with it. Which is the thing that I despise. Because this is a problem. I'm gonna get a little bit mad right now. Look, I genuinely dislike how there's still a lot of like LGBTQ phobia. Because imagine that you're a parent and you express great dislike for the LGBTQ community. Imagine if your child is part of that community. They can't tell you because they're afraid of what's going to happen to them if they tell you. And it sucks that a lot of people have or are dealing with this issue of their parents being against the LGBTQ community and are expressing great dislike for it. And the kid can't tell their parents. It actually, and trigger warning, this actually can lead to suicide. According to the Trevor Project, suicide is the second leading cause of death among young people ages 10 to 24, and lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, and questioning LGBTQ youth are more than 4 times likely to attempt suicide than their peers. And they estimate that more than 1.8 million LGBTQ youth 13 to 24 seriously consider suicide each year in the US, and at least one attempts every 45 seconds. Just think about that for a second. Think about that. They found out that 45% of LGBTQ youth seriously consider attempting suicide in the past year, including more than half of transgender and non-binary youth. Again, let that sink in for a minute. So here's some key risk factors for LGBTQ youth suicide. Minority stress. The minority stress model, one of the most predominant theories used to explain mental health disparities experienced by LGBTQ individuals, suggests that the experiences of LGBTQ-based victimization and the internalization of these experiences and anti-LGBTQ messages can compound and produce negative mental health outcomes and increase suicide risk among LGBTQ individuals. Rejection and lack of social support and affirming spaces. Research suggests that among the LGBTQ youth, only 1/3 experience parental acceptance, with an additional 1/3 experience parental rejection, and the final 1/3 not disclosing their LGBTQ identity until they are adults. Another study found that the LGB young adults who report high levels of parental rejection are 8 times more likely to report attempting suicide and 6 times more likely to report high levels of depression. Mainly, that's just because they're afraid to come out to, what's supposed to be their strong support system, when in fact they don't, because they're scared. Yeah. That's kind of effed up, if I'm being honest. Many LGBTQ youth lack access to affirming spaces, with only 55% of LGBTQ youth reporting that their local school is LGBTQ affirming, and only 37 saying that their home is LGBTQ confirming. Fewer than 1 in 3 transgender and non-binary youth found that their home to be gender affirming, and a little more than half, 51%, found their school to be affirming. And then we have physical harm and bullying, which about 36% of the LGBTQ youth experiences. We have discrimination, conversion therapy, when people just think that it's a mental issue and you just need some therapy to sort it all out. I honestly think that that's just really sad and upsetting that there's not enough support systems or spaces for everyone in the LGBTQ community. It just sucks. And then people end their life prematurely due to the fact of high stress, discrimination, bullying, and such, and that they can't go and talk to somebody about it. And in case if you haven't been following me on any of my social medias, I have stated that if you buy anything off of my Redbubble or donate any money, 75%, at least 75% of all proceedings will go to an LGBTQ organization, which I have now decided is the Trevor Project. And I will also now sweeten the deal. If you buy anything from the Ace Pride 2022 design that I have on Redbubble, you will be entered in a random drawing for where you can potentially win this Ace flag and or Ace necklace, because I accidentally got duplicates. Anyways, I do hope that you guys have a great Pride Month. Know that you are loved, accepted, and not alone, and that there is a support system out there for you, even if it's not physical. And just overall have a great day. This is your tiny rebellious leader, signing off.